This is simply a quiet place where you can rest your attention. In this episode, I'll gently share 50 calm facts about anxiety, not to remove it, not to fight it, but to understand it. You don't need to remember anything you hear. You don't need to agree with anything. Just let the words pass by, like thoughts that don't require answers. If you fall asleep, that's fine. If you stay awake, that's fine too. Nothing is required here. And now, we can begin. Anxiety is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a natural response created by the nervous system to keep you alive. Long before modern life existed, anxiety helped humans notice danger, react quickly, and survive uncertain environments. Even today, your anxiety system still believes its job is protection. It doesn't know the difference between real danger and imagined threat. It only knows sensation, and sensation doesn't mean harm. Anxiety is not your enemy. It doesn't appear to hurt you. It appears to help you. The problem is not anxiety itself, but how often it activates when nothing is protection. Your body is responding as if something important is happening, even when everything is quiet. This doesn't mean the system's broken. It means it's active, and activity can settle without force. Anxiety often feels worse at night because the brain has fewer distractions. During the day, movement, noise, conversation, and tasks absorb attention. At night, those distractions disappear, and what remains is awareness. When awareness turns inward, sensations feel stronger, not because they are stronger, but because they are no longer competing with anything else. Silence doesn't create anxiety. Silence reveals it. When the world becomes quiet, the nervous system finally has space to be noticed. This can feel uncomfortable at first, but it's not dangerous at all. Nothing new has been created. Nothing is increasing. You are simply noticing what was already there. And noticing doesn't mean something needs to be done. Anxiety often speaks through the body before it speaks through thoughts. A tight chest, a fast heartbeat, a restless feeling in the stomach. These sensations are not warnings, they are signals of activation. Your nervous system prepares the body before the mind decides what to think. This is why anxiety can feel sudden. It begins below thought, and sensations by themselves are not dangerous. They are temporary movements of energy that rise and fall. A racing heart during anxiety doesn't mean something is wrong with your heart. It means the body is sending blood to muscles and organs in case movement is needed. This response evolved for survival, not comfort. The heart speeds up because the body believes action might be required. But when no action comes, the heart eventually slows again. It always does. The body doesn't stay activated forever. Short or shallow breathing during anxiety is not a sign of suffocation. It's the body preparing to move quickly. When the nervous system senses threat, breathing becomes fast and light to support rapid motion. At night, this response can feel confusing because there is nowhere to go. But the body doesn't know that. It only knows sensation, and sensation isn't instruction. Anxiety doesn't require a reason. Many people believe anxiety must be caused by a specific thought or fear. But often, anxiety appears first and thoughts come later. The mind searches for explanations to match the feeling. This doesn't mean the thoughts are true. They are attempts to understand sensation, and sensation doesn't need explanation to pass. Anxiety can make you feel as if something terrible is about to happen. This feeling is called anticipation. Anticipation is the nervous system preparing for an unknown outcome. It doesn't predict the future, it only reflects uncertainty. The body prepares not because danger is certain, but because it is possible. Possibility is not reality, and anticipation always fades when nothing happens. Anxiety is not dangerous because it's comfortable. Discomfort and danger are not the same thing. The nervous system is capable of producing very strong sensations without causing harm. Anxiety feels intense because it involves survival systems. But survival systems are designed to turn on and turn off. They always return to baseline. Even when it feels slow, the body is moving back toward rest. Anxiety often feels stronger at night because the brain is tired. A tired brain has less energy to filter thoughts and emotions. During the day, the brain constantly evaluates, compares, and corrects. At night, that ability weakens. This doesn't mean the brain is failing, it means it's preparing for rest. When mental energy is low, thoughts feel heavier and emotions feel closer. This is not danger, it's fatigue. And fatigue always passes into sleep when resistance softens. Darkness can amplify anxiety because vision is limited. When the eyes see less, the brain compensates by turning inward. Inner sensations become more noticeable. Thoughts become louder. This is a natural response. The brain evolved to stay alert when visibility was low, but modern nights are safe. Your body may react as if it needs protection, even when it doesn't. The sensation is old, the environment is new, nothing bad is happening now. Anxiety often increases when the body is still. Movement gives the nervous system a way to release energy. At night, stillness removes that outlet. The energy remains inside, felt as restlessness or tension. This doesn't mean you need to move. It means the body is adjusting. Energy naturally settles when it's not feared. Stillness doesn't trap anxiety. Resistance does. An anxious mind often searches for certainty. It asks questions, it images outcomes, it rehearses scenarios. This is not overthinking, it is protection. The brain believes that predicting danger will prevent it, but certainty is not required for safety. Nothing bad happens when questions go unanswered. The brain can rest without solutions. Anxiety thoughts feel urgent because they come from survival systems. Urgency doesn't mean importance, it means activation. The nervous system speaks in strong signals because it's designed to act quickly. But night doesn't require action. Urgent thoughts don't need immediate response. They lose strength when they are not engaged, and engagement is optional. You don't need to calm anxiety for sleep to happen. Sleep is not the absence of anxiety, it's the absence of resistance. Many people fall asleep while anxiety is still present. The body knows how to rest, even when the mind feels active. Anxiety doesn't block sleep, trying to remove it does. When nothing is demanded, sleep arrives on its own time. Did you know that anxiety becomes stronger when you try to control it? Control sends a message to the nervous system that something is wrong. When you try to calm anxiety, the body interprets that effort as a confirmation of danger. This is why anxiety often resists control. Not because you are doing something wrong, but because the nervous system responds to urgency. Letting anxiety exist without interference removes the signal that something must be fixed. And when nothing needs fixing, the system begins to soften. Fighting anxiety keeps it active. Resistance tells the body that the sensation matters. When anxiety is pushed away, it pushes back. This is not punishment, it's feedback. The nervous system responds to attention, not intention. The less energy is treated as a threat, the less energy it receives. What is allowed is processed. What is resisted is repeated. Acceptance doesn't mean liking anxiety. It means not demanding its disappearance. Acceptance is quiet permission for the body to return to balance. When anxiety is allowed to be present, without commentary, without urgency, without any reaction, the nervous system no longer needs to hold the signal. And when the signal is no longer needed, it fades. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but naturally. Anxiety cannot remain at peak intensity. The nervous system is not designed to stay activated. Every anxious response contains its own ending. Heart rate slows, breathing deepens, muscles release. This always happens, even if it feels delayed. The body moves toward rest. You don't need to guide this process. Knows the way. Anxiety often feels endless because attention stays on it. Attention is fuel. The nervous system responds to what is noticed. This doesn't mean you should ignore anxiety. It means you don't need to follow it. Sensations can exist without becoming stories. When attention softens, the system follows. Fact number 22. Anxiety settles best when nothing is demanded. No timelines, no expectations, no goals. Rest isn't achieved, it's allowed. When the body senses that there is nowhere to go and nothing to do, it begins to release effort, and release is the doorway to sleep. Your chest tightness during anxiety doesn't mean something is wrong with your lungs or heart. It's caused by muscles contracting in preparation for action. The chest holds many muscles that respond quickly to stress signals. When the nervous system activates, these muscles tense automatically. Tension isn't danger, it's readiness. When readiness is no longer needed, the muscles release on their own. Nothing needs to be forced. Dizziness during anxiety is often caused by changes in breathing and attention. When awareness turns inward, sensations feel amplified. Lightheadedness doesn't mean fainting is coming. The body protects itself from loss of consciousness. Anxiety makes sensations noticeable, not harmful. The feeling passes when attention softens, and attention always softens when effort fades. Anxiety can create a sense of unreality. Things may feel distant, foggy, or unfamiliar. This is a protective response called dissociation. It helps the nervous system reduce emotional overload. Dissociation is not dangerous, it is temporary. The brain uses it to keep you safe. When calm returns, clarity returns too. Fear during anxiety often feels larger than the situation. This happens because the emotional brain is more active than the logical brain. At night, this imbalance is more noticeable. Logic doesn't disappear, it rests. Fear speaks louder when logic is quiet. But fear doesn't decide outcomes, it only reflects activation. Anxiety can create waves. It rises, it peaks, it falls. These waves can feel unpredictable, but they always follow this pattern. The body cannot stay activated indefinitely. Even strong anxiety contains rest within it. After every wave, there is release. You don't need to hurry it. Fatigue often follows anxiety. This is not weakness, it's the nervous system releasing energy. After activation, the body naturally moves toward rest. This fatigue is safe. It's one of the most reliable signs that the system is settling. When fatigue arrives, sleep is very close. As anxiety settles, awareness begins to soften. You may notice that you are less focused on a single thought or sensation. Attention becomes wider, less sharp, less demanding. The softening is not losing control, it's releasing effort. The nervous system no longer needs to watch everything closely, and when watching relaxes, rest becomes possible. Anxiety can temporarily change how you experience yourself. You may feel unfamiliar, distant, or unsure of who you are. This happens because anxiety pulls attention away from identity and towards sensation. Identity requires stability. Anxiety creates movement. When movement slows, the sense of self returns naturally. Nothing permanent has changed. At night, anxiety can make the self feel fragile. And this is because identity is quieter. When the mind is tired, without constant thought, there's less reinforcement of who you are. This can feel unsettling at first, but it's not harmful. The self doesn't disappear, it rests, and resting is safe. Control becomes less available as sleep approaches. Trying to control anxiety at this stage feels exhausting. This is because control is a daytime skill. At night, the brain naturally lets go of management. When control fades, the nervous system takes over, and the nervous system knows how to rest without direction. Anxiety doesn't prevent this letting go, it only delays it when it's resisted. When anxiety is allowed to exist quietly in the background, it loses its influence. It doesn't need to disappear to rest to arrive. The body rests first, the mind follows. As awareness loosens, thoughts become less distinct. They blend into one another. They lose edges. Eventually, they feel more like background noise than messages. This is the mind preparing for deeper rest. Nothing is wrong here. This is the natural direction of sleep. Let's make my voice deeper and your thoughts calmer. As anxiety loses intensity, it often turns into neutrality. Not calm, not relief, just nothing in particular. This neutral state can feel unfamiliar because anxiety has been present for so long. But neutrality is not emptiness, it is balance returning. The nervous system doesn't aim for happiness, it aims for regulation, and regulation feels quiet. Anxiety fades most easily when it's no longer measured. Checking whether anxiety is gone keeps attention on it. When checking stops, the system finishes its work on its own. The body doesn't need observation to return to rest. It has been doing this long before conscious thought even existed. You do not need to watch the process. At deeper levels of rest, anxiety loses its identity. It no longer feels like anxiety anymore. It becomes warmth, heaviness, soft sensation. This is because labels belong to the mind, not the body. When the mind quiets, labels dissolve. And without labels, there is nothing to fear. Sleep doesn't require confidence. You do not need to feel safe to fall asleep. The body sleeps whenever resistance fades. Many people fall asleep while feeling uncertain, tired, or emotionally neutral. Sleep isn't an achievement, it's a continuation of rest. Anxiety often disappears after sleep without explanation. This doesn't mean it was solved. It means the nervous system reset. Sleep restores balance without asking permission. The body remembers how to regulate itself when consciousness steps aside. Nothing needs to be understood tonight. At the edge of sleep, when anxiety becomes distant, it no longer demands attention. It no longer pulls awareness. It exists without urgency. This is not avoidance, it's rest overtaking effort. The nervous system has finished signaling. As your sleep deepens, the body becomes heavier, muscles remain relaxed without instruction, breathing continuous, without notice. This heaviness is safety. The body knows it can let go completely. Awareness becomes less personal as sleep approaches. There is less sense of me and more sense of actually being. Thoughts no longer refer to identity. They fade into sensation. This is not loss. It's rest from definition. Anxiety cannot follow you into deep sleep. It requires awareness, attention, and tension. When this softens, anxiety has nowhere to stay. Sleep doesn't push anxiety away. It simply removes the conditions that allow it to rest. Anxiety is not something you overcome. It is something that passes when nothing resists it. And when resistance fades, rest continues on its own. There is nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. From here, sleep carries itself forward, quietly, naturally, without any effort. Before everything fades completely, there's just one simple thing to remember. Anxiety was never a sign that something was wrong with you. It was a signal, a protective response, a system trying to help. Nothing you felt tonight needed fixing. Nothing needed to be pushed away. Your body already knows how to return to balance, and nothing is demanded of it. Thoughts can come and go. Sensations can arise and fall. Anxiety softens on its own when it's no longer the certain of attention, not because it's ignored, but because it no longer needs to signal. The nervous system speaks loudly only when it believes it must be heard. When nothing reacts, nothing argues, nothing tries to fix, the message completes itself, and the body moves quietly back toward the rest. Anxiety doesn't mean you are doing something wrong right now. It means your system is active in a moment that requires nothing. Activity without purpose naturally fades, just like a muscle relaxes when it's no longer used. You don't need to tell the body to relax. It relaxes when it's no longer needed. It's normal for anxiety to come and go in waves. Calm doesn't arrive all at once. It returns gradually, in quiet layers. Moments of ease may appear between thoughts. These moments do not need to be protected. They do not need to be held. They grow on their own when nothing interferes. You can rest even if anxiety is still nearby. Rest doesn't require a completely quiet mind. It only requires less effort. The body knows how to rest in imperfect conditions. It has done this many times before. Sleep doesn't wait for silence. It arrives when resistance fades. Anxiety doesn't decide how the night will go. The body always moves toward balance, sometimes slowly, sometimes quietly, sometimes without being noticed. You don't need to watch this happen. You don't need to help it. From here, everything you can continue on its own time, softly, gently, without effort. Sleep doesn't wait for perfection. It arrives when effort ends, and effort has already softened. From this moment, there is nothing else to understand, nothing else to do, only rest, continuing quietly on its own. Sleep well, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow in the same sleepy episode without AI, without nobody else except me.